In this Extra Life video, we're going to be taking a look at Aska, a new mythical co-op survival and colony simulation game that launched into early access on Steam in July of last year. Aska's gameplay focuses on base building, surviving destructive seasons, earning the gods' favor, and fighting ancient terrors. Aska takes place in the Viking Age as a mythic open-world survival and colony simulation game, with your goal being to rebuild human civilization starting from nothing. In the ages past, the gods gave humans the world as a home with builders, warriors, and legends. But humanity was overcome by hubris and tried to become the gods themselves. This was a doomed initiative that ended in everyone and everything being cast into deadly fires. As one of the few remaining survivors, it's up to you to reclaim lost knowledge and rebuild civilization. While there isn't much of a story so far, the game does follow its North theme with mythological components such as Jotun blood, a resource used to summon villagers from the Eye of Odin, or a potion made from Jotun blood that turns you into a raven for traversal. The game also features draugrs and wights that will attack you on sight, and even a Fenrir boss. Overall, it's a distinct but unobtrusive setting, where the focus is still on the basic survival mechanics of the genre, but with a little extra Norse flavor. The core gameplay systems of Aska will be very familiar to the average survival ARPG player, while also introducing many interesting colony management aspects similar to Age of Mythology, but in a third-person format. Your health and stamina bars are located in the bottom of the HUD, along with your inventory hotbar with your equipped weapons, tools, and food, and other items. On the bottom left, you have your hunger, thirst, and temperature meters. The core gameplay experience starts off with setting up a main village in an area of your choosing after exploring, as well as an outpost system which was added recently as part of an update, allowing for sub-settlements and decentralized village management. You'll be starting off as just yourself and any friends at the beginning of the game, but before long, you can start summoning villagers to grow your tribe. And while you grow your tribe, you'll be faced with multiple threats such as vicious wildlife, and occasionally your settlement will be under invasion by dead on a night with a blood moon. After the first in-game 30 days, the gods will test you by opening a winter invasion portal. You have ample time to prepare, as the invasion forces will not come immediately, and only come with the second winter season. There will also be a countdown for when the invasion is coming, and surviving the onslaught of invasions will propel you and your tribe towards a thriving future. The invasions will become tougher as time goes on, and where there were only wights initially, you'll be faced with skeletal revenants and draugr warriors as the seasons progress. The ultimate goal is to rebuild your settlement from scratch and lead your colony to a thriving future in these mythic Nordic lands, surviving against horrors, creatures, and harsh seasons, but you can also have a lot of fun just messing around with the survival and management mechanics. Like many survival games, the procedurally generated worlds you create will be saved and can also be uploaded to the Steam cloud, and you can either play in a world you created by yourself, or if you prefer, you can use the same world in multiplayer to play with up to 3 friends. Your friends can easily drop in and out of your server while you're playing in multiplayer. You can also leave your world open so that random players can join in if you want, or you can set a password to ensure no randoms come in and disturb you. Those are obviously just the basics of the game, and we're going to get into more details in a second, but before we do, I want to throw a big shout out to Sand Sailor Studio for sponsoring this video. They are the developers of the game. If you guys like what you see in this video and you want to help support the Extra Life YouTube channel, you can click our link below to help out. So the combat in Aska is pretty straightforward. You can attack enemies with your currently equipped weapon and dodge roll away from them to avoid their attacks, or block with a shield. Attacks, blocks, and dodges all cost stamina, and enemies do have a stagger bar which can be depleted by hitting an enemy repeatedly, stunning them for a limited amount of time. There are more options in combat, including a ranged system available to players with bows and arrows that you can improve over time. Aska has a proficiency system for combat as well as other survival mechanics. This system is similar to other games you may recognize, where if you perform an action more frequently, like gathering or ranged combat, you become more proficient in that aspect. While there are no skill trees or special abilities in Aska, your main role in the colony as you expand will be governed by what you end up doing the most often. You start off as a novice in all skills, but as you gain proficiency, you become more efficient with those skills. For example, as you gain proficiency in ranged and melee combat, you begin to deal more damage to your enemies with each hit, and for the harvesting skills, you'll be able to cut stone clumps and large trees much faster the more proficient you are with a corresponding skill. Regarding the survival mechanics, there are the usual aspects of hunger, thirst, and cold. Although not as punishing as some of the more hardcore survival games, you will still have to keep your basic needs met, as you'll obtain bonus stats from being well fed and well hydrated, such as better stamina recovery and extra strength. It's more nuanced than just hoarding a ton of food in your inventory at all times, because foodstuff will easily spoil and becomes inedible as time passes. However, when it comes to death, Aska has an interesting death mechanic that presents you with a pretty hard choice. When you die, you'll have the choice of either becoming a ghost or being reborn, and both options have various drawbacks. Becoming a ghost requires you to possess one of your villagers to return to life, costing you a follower and the items used to summon it, and being reborn will incur a penalty to your stats and gain skills, requiring you to regain your experience. Since the Jotun blood needed to attract more villagers to your humble settlement is a rare commodity in Aska, dying can mean a significant setback if you choose to sacrifice one of your villagers to come back to life. Simply choosing the reborn option is not much better, as your stats will go down and you lose all your learned proficiencies every time you are reborn, weakening yourself significantly. As both the villagers and your skills are part of the growth of your colony, survival is even more important as every death carries with it significant loss, making it harder to prevail against later invasions in later seasons. When you start the game, you start on the shore shipwrecked with a giant Jotun looming in the sea. You forage and gather loose sticks and stones to craft a campfire and basic shelter for yourself, and afterwards you can build the Eye of Odin. Once you place it, you'll be able to begin summoning villagers using the Blood of Jotun resource to help you start rebuilding. The survival aspects of Aska have a lot of details that you need to pay attention to. For example, food in your inventory can spoil and rot, and resources can waste away in your inventory. You can find resources for crafting throughout the map as you explore, such as sticks, fibers, and stones, all of which are pretty easy to find and gather. But you will need basic tools to start harvesting resources from trees and stone deposits, and then use those resources to get better tools, and so on. For base building, you'll be able to put down a blueprint of a building that serves a particular purpose, similar to a colony simulation game. For a survival mixed colony game with base building, this system works well combined with the colony management aspects of the game, emulating this city builder genre a little bit. A feature of this, which I found pretty convenient, is the ability to pin a building in progress at the top left of the HUD, so that you know exactly what materials you require to finish it, which takes away a lot of double checking that I tend to constantly do in other survival games, because I can't remember how many resources I need in order to finish it. Sand Sailor Studio is also hard at work adding new building features to the game over time, with seasonal updates such as Christmas decorations last year, new buildings like a chieftain's house, and more adornments like ivy fences and arches. Given that the game is still in early access, there are bound to be many more updates in this area over time that allow you to decorate your settlement with even more forms of decorations. Aska also continues to update their game frequently, with 5 major updates already this year, including one in August, one in June that added animal husbandry to the game, one in May that added new buildings and weapons, and one in March that improved mining and farming. So you get a lot of support with this game, and you should expect frequent updates as well. The villagers also add an interesting aspect to the survival mechanics, since they have the same needs as you, such as hunger, thirst, and cold, and you'll need to provide for these. Otherwise, your villagers won't survive the harsh lands, and you'll be left with less helping hands. Each villager needs a house of their own, and you can assign villagers specific jobs such as woodcutting or farming to make sure that there is a steady supply of resources in your village. You can even set their schedules of when they take breaks, how many hours they work, and when they go to bed. So if you're into min-maxing efficiency for your settlement, there's a lot that can be played with here. As you rely on the help of your villagers, you need to make sure there's a steady supply of water and food for them as well. While the initial foraged vegetables and fruits may last 1 or 2 people for a season, as your village grows, it's essential that you set up farms or hunting and fishing to ensure you have a steady supply of food. There are 4 different seasons in Aska, and each season has different crops that can grow in season. After the farming system update back in October of last year, you can schedule crop rotations for each season, with the interface showing which seeds are off-season, so that there is little chance of your farming failing to provide food for your growing community. The management system of the villagers is also not overly complicated, with each person working efficiently at their assigned post, cleaning up any items you may have dropped or did not pick up. Assigning a villager is as simple as clicking open the menu on the building and pressing a button. There's also a very helpful overview of all your villagers that you can use to take a quick glance and figure out who is assigned to which job and all the issues and requirements that need attention in your village. Getting an information overview of what your villagers are doing and how many people have been assigned to resource gathering areas is also very easy, with different color codings for various jobs in the game. For example, green is woodcutting and light blue is stone cutting, and all this information can be gleaned at a glance from the minimap as well. Of course, to make all the building and survival possible in Aska, players will need to do some exploration. There aren't named regions in the game, but the land is vast and offers ample resources that you need for your colony to thrive. The natural resources at your starting region will become depleted after a certain point, further pushing you to go out and explore the land. While exploring, you can run across a variety of points of interest, such as wolfguard dens, cemeteries, and shipwrecks. These points of interest spawn enemies consistently until they're destroyed, and can be a valuable source of certain resources such as fur and Jotun blood. But if you set up your village too close to one of these, you'll need to eliminate the enemy den by destroying points such as bone piles, which will summon a powerful mini-boss that needs to be killed to finally dispose of the spawn point. To find iron for later stages of crafting, you'll need to enter caves, which, unlike other survival crafting games, require an entrance mine hut to be built before you're able to enter and explore them. The exploration and other gameplay aspects in Aska, like clearing out dens and building your settlement, only get better once you boot up co-op with up to 4 players in your lobby. I appreciate the fact that our worlds are saved and can be played either solo or multiplayer. I began solo, and then I could start my world in multiplayer later, where I played with a few friends in a seamless experience. The added feature of in-game chat was also pretty helpful, and I can't imagine how much bigger our settlement could have been if we'd all worked on it from the very beginning instead of starting solo play. There's definitely a ton to unpack in Aska, and when I started the game, the lack of tutorial really put me off from how complex everything seemed to be. But once I got past the initial hurdle of learning and gathering resources, the game opened up and I managed to build up a pretty big settlement that I felt satisfied with, having a bunch of tribe members traveling across the map for all my resources. Final thoughts. Aska manages to provide a unique blend of survival and colony management elements, giving you a world with challenging combat, exploration, and the opportunity to establish a thriving community as both a solo or co-op experience. The most addicting part in my single-player experience with the game was the min-maxing in efficiency, making sure that the needs of my villagers were met, and ensuring the supply chains were functioning. It's just really satisfying to see your settlement come together and grow amidst the harsh environments and various threats in Aska. All in all, Aska is definitely a worthwhile experience, which is only enhanced if you have friends to play co-op with and you enjoy cooperative survival games. The colony management aspect adds a unique depth to the survival experience, which sets Aska apart from many other survival games out there today. And with the added custom game mode, which allows you to decide whether you want combat to be part of your experience or not, Aska promises different levels of challenge depending on your preference. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Aska is in early access and is available on Steam right now, and the devs at Sand Sailor Studios have been hard at work adding new features and polishing the game, making it the Viking survival game that keeps growing, both with the features and in-game with your settlement. Aska proves to be a unique survival experience with an added twist of city builder-esque colony management not commonly seen in survival games. If you guys like the look of it, or you're looking for a new survival game to play alone or with friends, you might want to consider checking it out now, especially since Aska will be going on sale during the Steam Autumn Sale with a 40% discount. You can use our link below to support the channel.